Hi, I'm Tony, and I'm about ready to get started in a yoga hatha practice, and it's pretty much for all levels. We'll be focusing on lifting the chest, which kind of gets us ready for the peak pose, which is the King Dancer pose. So let's just sit on our mat here. Cross your shins just to get into a seated pose, easy pose. And let's start with just taking some 3 long deep breaths. So when you're ready, breathe in real deep, pause and let it out. And then pause, breathe again, deep breath, pause and let it out. And notice the out breath is a little bit longer, which is way more relaxing. Okay, let's do one more. In, pause, and let it out. Okay, let's start by warming up with cat-cow. So you're going to come to your hands and your knees, and for the cat and cow, you push your back up and round it. For the cat, just let your head hang and breathe here. And then release. As you come up to the cow pose, you can breathe in. Just arch your back the other way and then relax. Breathe here. Okay, let's release that. Breathe in and breathe out when you arch it for the cat. If you're kind of unsure when to breathe in or out, it's pretty much when you're in a position that's like a fold like this, you want to breathe out when you go into it. And then when you release this kind of a pose and go the opposite direction, now you can breathe in. Just breathe here for a second. Let's do one more time. Cat. Release to cow. Okay, we're going to come into child's pose. So just sit down on your heels. Keep your arms forward. And when you get to your heels, you can reach way forward with your fingers. Slide forward as much as you can. And when you get out as far as you can, just let your head hang on the mat. And feel that stretch in the back. Breathe here. A couple more breaths. Okay, now just slightly bring your knees apart, because we're going to come up on our fingertips and reach even further. So your elbows are not touching the ground. And you can even get more of a stretch. Just breathe here for a couple breaths. And on your next out breath, put your elbows on the mat and put your hands towards your shoulder blades. And now walk your elbows out a little bit further and just relax into this. Okay, release that. Put your arms back forward. And just push up a little bit because we're going to come up to a downward facing dog. So just come up onto your toes and just lift up. And when you get up here, just kind of pump your legs a little bit just to get them stretched out. The idea with downward dog is to have a straight back, and it's okay to bend your knees. So if I bend my knees and I can straighten my back out further, and then when you get warmed up, you can start to try to lower your heels to the ground. But for now, just kind of stretch your legs a little bit here. Okay, now we're going to come into a plank. So here's our plank. Your back should be in the same level as the ground. In other words, you're not like this, but you're like this. Okay, we're going to come into chaturanga. So when we go into chaturanga, make sure your wrist, elbows, and shoulders are lined up. So you might have to lean. You don't want to come down to chaturanga like this. You want to come down like this. Okay, and what we're going to do is we're going to go all the way till our belly touches the mat. So just come straight down. I'm going to back up a little bit. And then from here, just keep your hands where they are. And you're going to slightly push up for the cobra pose. So just push up a little with your hands. And you don't have to come up really any much further than this. You can if you want to come all the way up, but this is fine. Just breathe here. Okay, let's come back into downward dog. Same thing here, just keep warming up stretching your legs, warming them up. Okay, when you're ready, breathe out. We're going to take baby steps up to our hands. And you can come up on your fingertips here if it helps. And we're going to do a forward fold. So just bend your knees slightly and just kind of fold your arms together. But let yourself hang here. There's not much you need to do. Just hang here. Let your head hang. Breathe. Okay, in your next out breath, we're going to come to an upward salute. So this is an upward salute, just like this. If you can't see my hands, just reaching up high. It's really Tadasana with the hands above. Okay, from here, we're going to interlace our fingers. So I'm going to face you for this. Okay, so you're going to interlace your fingers like this, right? You're going to push them out and straight above your head, keeping your arms straight. And from here, you can put your feet together. It works better. You're going to lean to your right and push your hips to the left. Try not to lean forward too much with your hands. Stay parallel with your body. And breathe here for a couple seconds. Keeping your arms straight, palms out. Okay, let's come back here to center. And we're going to lean to the left, push our hips to the right, keeping your body parallel. Breathe. And now you can come back up to center and bring your hands back in front of you with your palms facing you. Breathe. What we're going to do is we're going to switch the interlace. So just come up one finger or down, depends on where you're at, right? Do the exact same thing, outward and back up. And we're going to head over to the right with our hips to the left again. The next out breath, come back up to center. From here, lean to the left, hips to the right, arms straight. One last breath, and then release that. Arms to Tadasana. And I think that concludes our little warm-up. I should add the cow face, which is another good one. So in Tadasana, you're going to take your left hand and just put it behind your back with the palms facing out and reach up as high as you can towards your shoulder blades. About here. And take this hand and just try to grab it. And just hold this. Just for a couple breaths, hold this. Okay, release that and just do the complete opposite. Just swing it back around. You might have to grab your hand and push it up there. This side's a lot harder for me. So you can push it up like that and just see if you can grab it. Even if you can touch it, or even if you can't touch it, just do as far as you can. One last breath, and on the out breath, just release that. Okay. Let's get into some sequencing here. So, before we do that, I just want to say that in Vinyasa, there's always a sun salutation, and you do about 4 rounds. And I'm thinking for this class, we can do a condensed version of the sun salutations. So let's do this, and then we'll move on. Okay. So for the sun salutations, you stand about right here on your mat. Okay. Come up with your like a high salute. And you can go back a little bit. You come down to a forward fold. You can bend your knees a little bit here. Okay, put your hands on the mat, and you can step or jump back to a downward dog. So if you step, it could just be like this, real quick step to the downward dog. I'll show you the jump in a second round. But here, try to see if you can straighten out your back and get your legs as straight as you can too. It's okay if you still bend your legs. It's more important to straighten your back. Okay, from here, we're going to do a chaturanga. So come down halfway and do a upward dog. So your knees should not be touching the ground, just the tops of your feet. Come up. Downward dog. And here we're going to step or jump up to our hand. So this is what it looks like if you jump. Forward fold. Up, high salute. You can lean back if you want. Back down to a forward fold. Hands on the mat. Step or jump back to a downward dog. Chaturanga, halfway to upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Step or jump up. High salute. Let's do one more round. Okay. Forward fold. Step or jump back to downward dog. Chaturanga, halfway. Upward dog. Downward dog. Step or jump up. Forward fold. High salute. And then Tadasana. Okay, we're going to get into some standing poses right now. We're going to do four rounds, and I'm going to start with triangle pose, and each time we do a round, I'm going to add something else. All right, so for now, we're going to do the triangle pose, and then we're going to get into extended side angle, and then a little bit more. All right, so stand with your feet apart, and just move your feet this way. So this front foot is like 90 degrees. This foot is more like 45. Okay, so your arms in a T. Reach out and then come down and slide your hand down your shin and grab your ankle. You can also just grab your shin or go down as far as what comfortable for you. Look up at the ceiling and breathe here. Make sure your hips are pointed out. Okay. The hips here are considered a open hip pose, and I'll show you a closed hip pose in a minute. Okay, so we're going to come back up, arms into a T, and just pivot your feet opposite direction. We're going to go, reach, then come down, grab your ankle, look up, push your hips forward, and look at the ceiling. And just breathe here. Okay, on this out breath, just come back up to a T. Okay, that's round one. Okay, so for round two, I'm going to add an extended side angle. So arms in a T, feet facing this way now. Reach, slide your hand down, triangle, looking up, breathing. Okay, from here, just bend your left knee and put your left elbow on your thigh. And then take your arm, bring it out in front of you and look at it. And you're all the way from your hand to your foot in the back should be pretty much a straight line. You can also put your left hand on the ground or grab your ankle, but whatever is more comfortable. Okay, come back, straighten out your knee to a T. Switch your feet to the right. Reach. Come down. Triangle pose. Same as before. Just breathe here. Okay, from here, let's go into extended side angle. So bend your knee, Bend your elbow, put on your thigh. Reach your hand way forward. Look up at your hand. Hold. Make sure your knee is above your ankle, not in front of it. Release, come back up. Straighten your knee. And come back up to Tadasana. All right. On the next pose, I'm going to add the half moon. So let's just do it. Same position here. Arms in a T. Reach. Come down to triangle pose. Okay. Extended side angle. And from here, I gotta move back a little bit. From here, you're just gonna go straight into the half moon. So you can bring your hand back straight up and reach in front of you about 8 to 12 inches. Put your hand down. You can go on your fingertips if you like, and then just push up. Both your arms and both your legs should be straight. Just breathe into this. Okay, let's come out of it. Bend your knee. Come back into triangle and then Tadasana. Okay, let's do the other side. So, triangle pose. Reach. Come down. Looking up. Just breathe here. Feel that stretch in your hip. Okay, bend your front knee, bend your elbow, reach in front of you, looking up at your hand, straight line from your hand to your foot. Okay, let's bring our hand straight up, and then I gotta step back a little bit again. You're gonna reach down in front of you, put your hand on the floor, and push. You can even like drag your foot forward like this, and then bring it up, if that helps. Breathe and hang in there. Okay, last breath. Bend your knee. Come back. Triangle. Tadasana. Whew. Okay, one more round. And I'm going to add let's grab our ankle on this one. So this takes a lot of balance, but let's just see what happens. If you can't grab your ankle, you can just grab your knee or just bend it. You'll see what I mean when I get there. So anyways, arms in a T, reach, triangle, extended side angle, okay, arms straight up, half moon, so reach out in front of you, and push up, and from here, bend your knee, and you can bring it forward if you want, to just kind of feel where your knee is, and slide your hand down to your ankle, and from here, you're going to push your chest forward, and push back with your foot. So you're creating this arch in your back, which is similar to the King Dancer pose. So this pose kind of gets you ready for that. Okay, release, come back. Tadasana. And I'm going to move over to the left here. Okay, we're going to do the other side. So arms in a T, reach for the triangle pose. Reach up, look at your hand or the ceiling. Breathe. Okay, let's bend the knee for the extended side angle. Reach here, forward. Okay, arms straight up. And look down at the ground and reach in front of you and just step up. Stay with it. Okay, let's bend our knee and grab your ankle. Push your chest forward and your foot back, creating an arch in your back. You don't have to push too much to create that arch. If you're pushing your chest forward, okay, so let's go ahead and release that. Come back. Okay, Tadasana, and let's just catch our breath here. It's you can do a forward fold just to kind of equalize your back. Okay, so these next poses that we're going to do are balance poses. So these are all closed hip poses. Closed hip means that if you're doing a pose, your hips are facing forward. Like if you're doing something like this or Warrior 3, you know, your hips aren't, this is open. This is considered open. If you're doing, you know, stuff like this, it's open. But if you're doing, like, say, Warrior 1, your hips are now closed. Okay, that's the difference. All right, so we're going to start with mountain pose, going to tree pose, Warrior 1, Warrior 3, and repeat the other side. All right, so for mountain pose, I guess we can stand in the middle of our mat. Okay, so for the tree pose, I'll face you for this. You're going to balance on your right foot, and you're going to bring your left foot either above, and you can grab it, or below, like on your thigh or your calf. Just not on your knee, because that puts too much pressure on your knee. So I'm going to come up to here, right? And when you get your balance, put your hands in prayer position at your heart. And then when you catch your balance here, I'm going to face this way now. When you catch your balance here, come straight up. Okay, so from here, you're going to step back into Warrior 1. So your left foot's going to step back behind you, and your palms will come apart. So step back, plant your foot, release your palms, and it should look something like this. Your back foot, if your heel is slightly off the ground, it's okay, but it should be planted as good as you can. And it's kind of like facing as forward as you can too. Okay, from here, you're going to put your hands back into prayer above your head, and with one step, you're going to come back to your tree pose. So on an out breath, let's try it. Just come right back to your tree pose, palms together. Breathe. Hold this for a second. And now, palms apart, step back again. Warrior one. And from here, we're going to go into warrior three, which in your hips should be facing forward. So for warrior three, what I like to do is take my hands and interlace them behind me. You can let them hang. You can, do your flying like Superman kind of thing. But I like to interlace them behind my back and push them up. And then from here, you take a step forward. You can drag your toe behind you if you like. Take a step forward and lift your back foot, straightening both legs. And try to become level with the floor from your back leg, foot to your head. Just keep holding it. Okay, from here, we're going to go back into warrior one. So step back to warrior one. Breathe here. Both hips forward, closed. Okay, from here you can release the hands and step into mountain pose. We're going to do it one more time on the other side. Just catch your breath here for a second. So we're going to tree pose, warrior one, tree pose, warrior one, warrior three, warrior one. Okay, anyways, mountain pose, tree pose again, except you're going to lean on your left foot and bring your foot up to your calf or your thigh. Okay, heart, center, palms, prayer, straight up. Okay, from here, we're going to go into warrior one. So you're going to step your right foot back. And while you step your right foot back, release your palms. And just adjust yourself a little bit. Always making sure that your knee is not past your ankle. It should be slightly behind it or straight on top of it. Okay, from here, remember we're going to step back with one step right back to your tree pose. So palms together, step back, tree pose. Find your balance here and breathe. Okay, we're going to step back into warrior one again. So palms apart, step back. Hold this and breathe. Okay, from here, bring your hands down and behind you. Interlace them. Push them up. And we're going into warrior three. So you can drag your toe behind you if it helps you balance. Straighten both legs. And you should come into your back foot and your head kind of level with the ground. It's okay if your legs are shaking. Okay, let's release that. Come back. Warrior one. Arms down and come into Tadasana. Wow, what a workout. Okay, so now we're going to get into our peak pose. So our peak pose is the King Dancer pose, and a lot of people do it. You know, they really get into it, and they have the whole back arch, and they're way down here. That's not necessary, but it's great. Really, all you have to do is make sure your chest is going up, your back is arched, and you're pushing back on your foot. You can just do it just like that, and that's considered the King Dancer pose. Okay, so let's start with let's start with the forward fold, just to get that stretch in the lower back. And when you're ready, just come up to Tadasana. I'll face this way. And what you're going to do is you're going to, I guess we should lean on our right foot. Lean on your right foot, get your balance, right? And when you bend your knee to grab your hand, bend it with your knee still in place. So you're going like this. A lot of people do this. But just go like that. Okay? Grab it. I'm going to move back a little bit. Grab your ankle. Put your arms straight up. Push your chest up and push your chest back. And try to balance here and just breathe. And if you want to come down a little bit, that's okay. If you want to come down all the way, that's fine. But really, this is all you need to do. Just so long as your chest is up, back is arched, you're pushing back on your foot. Okay, let's come down. Okay, we're going to repeat that on the other side. So bend your right knee, balance on your left, grab your ankle, arm comes straight up, breathe in and out, and lift your chest, push your foot back, lift your chest, and look forward. Just make sure, I'm going to face you, make sure you're not doing something like this with your leg, right? It should be down, like that. Okay, release, come back down to Tadasana, and let's do a forward fold. Let's just hang here for a second. Just catch your breath here. Okay, let's put our hands on the mat, downward facing dog. Chaturanga to upward facing dog. Okay. Down dog. Come into tabletop, so just put your knees on the mat. And just for child's pose, just sit back on your heels. Let's relax here for a second. Okay, let's come up and let's let's just sit on our mats. I'm going to face you like this. I guess you could face this way too. Just come into your easy seated pose. Okay, from here, we're going to do the staff pose. We're going to do some twists, okay, before we do our cool down. So staff pose is when you put your feet straight out in front of you. And for the seated twist, I forgot to mention this, but it would be nice to have something to put under one of your hips, but it could be anything. If there's something by you, even if you don't have one, it's okay. But it could be anything. I'm just going to grab this and have it ready. All right, so for seated twist, what you want to do is bring both your feet to the right and set them to the right side of you. So your ankle, your right ankle is leaning into the bottom left foot, like the sole. It's just resting right there. And so what you want to do here is, if you have something to put under your left hip, left glute, it helps a lot. Okay, it gets your left hip up higher. But if you can, it's all right. Just this is what we're going to do. We're going to twist to the right. We're going to take our left hand and put it on the outside of the right knee. Take your right hand, put it behind you on the ground, close to your spine, and just look behind you. So obviously, when you look behind you, you want to exhale because it's restricting your breathing. When you get here, you're going to have to take shorter breaths. Okay, let's come back and let's switch. Okay, I'm going to come back to staff pose. Bring both feet to the left side of you. Right? Stack them the same way. If you got something to sit under your right glute, that would be helpful. Okay, so from here, you're going to take your right hand and put it on the outside of your left knee. Put your left hand close to your spine just for support and twist to the left. Okay, exhale and return to center. Back to staff. Okay, now we're going to do some twists. The fish's pose twist. One of my favorites. So from staff, you take your right knee, bend it, and put your foot on the outside of your left knee. All right. Take your left hand, bend your elbow, and put your elbow on the right side or outside of your right knee. Take this hand, put it behind you like before, close to your spine, and twist to the right. Breathing here. On your next exhale, release that and reverse it. Left foot on the outside of your right knee, right elbow bent on the outside of your left knee. Put your arm behind you, close to your spine, and twist and look to the left. Okay, your next exhale, release and come back to center. Okay, we're going to do a little cool down now before we get into Shavasana. So we're going to do the bridge pose. So the bridge pose is one of my favorites. So you just lay on your back, put your feet close to your glutes, put your hands next to your heels, palms down, and just push up with your feet. And try to roll back on your shoulder blades. And just hold this. This is really healthy for your intestines. You can kind of feel them going the other way. Okay. On your exhale, release this, coming back slowly, vertebrae by vertebrae, until your tailbone hits the mat. Okay, we're going to do that again. Only this time, we're going to interlace our fingers, right? And roll your shoulder blades as much as you can under, almost like you're on your arms here, and push up. You can even come up on your toes to get even more of a arch. Just breathe and hold this either on your toes or your whole foot. Okay, come down one vertebrae at a time and sink in to Shavasana. So just go ahead and extend your legs and let everything just relax here. The palms can be up or they can be down. And this is your time to relax. So just let your whole body, wherever it's touching the mat, just let it sink into the mat. Notice your breath. It'll start to calm down here in a minute. In the meantime, let's do a quick body scan. So starting at the top of your head, your scalp, just relax that. Relax your eyebrows. Relax your eyes. Close your eyes, actually. And for me, my eyes are the hardest to get to relax, so you might have to keep coming back to that. But relax your jaw, your neck. Relax your shoulders. Down your arms, elbows, forearms, wrists, hands, fingers. Just feel them melt into the mat. And then come up to your chest and your shoulder blades. Relax that. Your mid back, your stomach, your pelvis, your lower back, both buttocks down to the thighs, knees, calves, ankles, feet, toes. Check in with your eyes again. Make sure they're relaxed. And from here, we're just going to start to notice our breath. Just breathing in and out naturally. There's nothing you need to do to your breath. Just notice it. You can notice how it's coming in cold through your nose and it comes out warm when it's an exhale. You can notice your chest rising and falling. Keep your mind on your breath. If it wanders, just bring it back. That's part of meditation. You can even start to notice what you're thinking, or just watching your thoughts without getting caught up in them. If thoughts take you away, just come back to breathing. Okay, when you're ready, just take one more deep breath and let it out while you wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, and flutter your eyes open. And just notice the stillness that you created. It's there. Try to hang on to the stillness as long as you can throughout the day. And when you're ready, bring your knees up and fold to one side, bringing your arm up for a pillow for your head. And just pause here for a couple seconds, still hanging on to that stillness. Okay, let's push up, come up to sitting position. Well, I don't know about you, but when I try to hang on to that stillness, it seems like nothing else matters. Anyways, that concludes our Hatha Yoga practice today. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm Tony, and if you liked it, like and subscribe. I'll be doing more. I'll be getting into some yin yoga, and there's vinyasa. But until next time, namaste.